Ian, how are you, lad?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, very good. Thank you. Ian writes, of course, for awfulannouncing.com, thecomeback.com. And, of course, like both on Facebook, and we love having Ian here on the radio talk, not only Major League Baseball, but also NFL Gold Nuggets as well. All right, buddy, here we go. The Cardinals are on a 16-game winning streak after a come-from-behind win over the Cubs yesterday. But, Ian, are you concerned that St. Louis may be peaking maybe a little too early heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, I suppose that's a little bit of a concern, but statistically, that's always been a question for years. You know, is it better to go into the playoffs hot or to have a loss and kind of reset going in? Certainly you don't want to go into the playoffs on a losing note, but for the Cardinals, I think it's important to go in on a very high note because they are going to play a one-game playoff second wild card in the National League, and they're going to be matched up against the Dodgers or the Giants. So they want to be humming along. They want to have their rotation set so they have, ideally, Adam Wainwright starting that wild card game. I don't know if it's going to work out quite that way, but a big key to the Cardinals' success during this 16-game winning streak has been Paul Goldschmidt. He's playing like the MVP hitter they hoped they were getting from Arizona. And in the second half of the season, he's been great. 333 average, OPS over 1,000, 18 home runs, 19 doubles. So if he continues to hum along, I mean, that could be the difference, especially in a one-game playoff.
Yeah. I mean, that's always my concern. Over the years, we've heard these stories of here comes this team, man, they are flying into the playoffs hot and they're ready to go. And then it always happens at some point. I'm a firm believer in that, man. Don't get too hot too early to the playoffs. It's kind of like that team that's like, as you say, kind of going in, doing okay, and then boom, then they pick it up. But I'm by the way, outside of the Braves, I'm pulling for the Cardinals. But, man, it kind of worries me when you're playing this well. History shows that, boy, when it happens, you'll lose 2 or 3 in a row. It's like when you change a manager, team's playing like crap. You change a manager, hey, it gets rolling again for just a little bit. And I think that kind of has the same impact for me anyway. Hopefully the Cardinals can keep that streak going as they head into the playoffs, which, again, is coming up here in just under 2 weeks. Ian, tragedy in San Diego. How did a 2-year-old child fall to his death at Petco Park?
Yeah, this is just an awful story. A 2-year-old boy and his mother, 40 years old, fell from the 3rd level at Petco Park. And from the 3rd level concourse, that's equivalent to a 6-story fall. So, they were pronounced dead on the scene. It was, witnesses, I think, attempted to help and revive, but it was just pretty clear that neither was going to make it. Now, how this happened is still being investigated. I thought the San Diego police had released a very strange statement because they said they couldn't determine yet if the fall was intentional or accidental, but, quote, there were reasons for suspicion, which is just a strange thing to say, I think. Saying that there's reason to be suspicious of what now, witnesses have said that the toddler fell from an area with picnic tables and the mother also fell while trying to grab the child. The child's father was also in the ballpark, but based on what's in the report, doesn't sound like the father was right there when this happened. But for the police to say that there's reason for suspicion is just a very curious statement.
Boy, that's something to easily to read into, and so this investigation, as we speak, is ongoing at this point, Ian, right?
Yeah, okay. I think that they're trying to get as much information from witnesses as possible. Hundreds, maybe more people saw this happen at the ballpark. This happened before the ball game, late in the afternoon. So you had a lot of people who I think even, were just trying to process what they saw, whether deciding to go home or to somehow sit through the ball game and process what they saw. Maybe some of those people will call the police afterwards, after everything, that they've sorted out, after seeing something so upsetting and dramatic.
Oh, my goodness. I can't imagine. As Ian Castleberry joins the Wise Guys, we're talking Major League Baseball headlines presented by Happy Hill Restaurant. Ian, the Yankees sweep the Red Sox, put themselves ahead of Boston in the playoff hunt. Do you think the Red Sox fade or fight? That was a rough going at Fenway this weekend.
Yeah, based on how the Red Sox have been playing, I think they could fade. I mean, their offense, especially, is really struggling. But if you look at the schedule, boy, it sure favors the Red Sox. I mean, the Yankees' final 6 games, 3 at Toronto, and then they host the Rays for 3 games. Compare that to the Red Sox, 3 at the Baltimore Orioles, 106 losses on the season, and then 3 at the Washington Nationals, who have pretty much gone in the tank, since they sold everybody off at the trade deadline. So based on schedule, you have to think that the Red Sox will come out ahead for that top wild card spot. And really what we're talking about here is the difference between either hosting the one-game wild card playoff or playing at Yankee Stadium. I think the Red Sox, of course, would rather play at home, but right now, the way they're playing and the way the Yankees are playing, it looks like the one-game playoff is going to be at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, man. That will be sweet for sure. All right, let's see. Ian, also, too, you said a few weeks back you didn't think Mike Trout was going to return this season, and guess what? It looks like he's not. Mike Trout had a right calf strain back in May. That was to put him on the IL for maybe 6, maybe 8 weeks. So what happened to that time frame, Ian?
It's curious. It seemed like every time Trout talked about this with the press yesterday and said every time it looked like things were healing, that he finally would test it out and go running and things would feel good, but then he would be sore the next day. So he finally sat down for about 2 weeks, didn't do anything, and exams have turned up no damage. It looks like it's been completely healed, that calf, other than residual scar tissue. But for whatever reason, this is just something that Trout hasn't been able to shake. Maybe he didn't sit out as long as he should have while he wasn't playing. Maybe he tried to push it a little bit and didn't allow the healing process to take place as long or as well as it could have. But as far as shutting down now, first of all, the Angels, they're 74 and 82, 17 games out of first place, 14 games out of a wild card spot. What's the point of playing Mike Trout, really? But also at this point in the season, even if he was okay and got the green light to start playing again, he would probably have to go for a rehab assignment in the minors, whether it's 1 or 2 weeks. And there really just isn't time for that, not to mention that most minor league teams, their season's over now. So the opportunity for a rehab assignment wouldn't be there. So I think just all sides involved, both Trout and the Angels, just thought, okay, shut it down, have a great off season, and come back stronger next year.
But yeah, I can understand why Mike Trout is doing it. Certainly, it makes sense. But it's like, wow, why did he have to do that at that point? But hey, he's going to be well rested heading into 2022. That is for sure. He only
played 36 games, and as you said, this was supposed to be a 6 to 8 week recovery. He hasn't played since May 17th.
Yeah, that is that. Look, calf injuries are no fun. But you think Mike Trout would have had it, figured out before then, or the training staff. Obviously, things did not go as planned, and the Angels paid for it, no doubt about that. By the way, you think Ohtani's going to stick with the Angels when his time is up there?
I think so. Maybe there would be some teams that really bid for him, but I think he really likes playing for the Angels. Maybe not quite having as much pressure, say, as if he played, in a Los Angeles or New York or Boston, Chicago. I think he really likes the way the team has handled him. Joe Madden and the front office there, at first they played it safe with him, treated him with kid gloves, and this season they just let him go. So, play as much as you want, pitch, just take your normal rest days in the rotation, and it worked out wonderfully. So I think he enjoys playing there, but you never know. If he does go to free agency, if the Angels don't sign him to an extension, there could be quite a bidding war for him, and then the Angels might opt out. But the Angels need pitching so bad. Obviously, Ohtani, that's the question. Is Ohtani more valuable to the Angels as a hitter or as a pitcher? He certainly has value as a pitcher, and pitching is in short supply. That's something that Mike Trout talked about, too, in regards to his recovery, that he was looking forward to an off season where the front office and ownership would really try to make some big moves. And Shohei Ohtani probably shouldn't be the Angels' number one starter, but right now he is.
Oh man, yeah, I'll tell you what, that's tough. There's no doubt about that. For the Angels, might have helped to have Mike Trout the whole season, but we'll see what's up with he and Ohtani. Even Mike Trout said, man, what Ohtani is doing is just amazing. So you can't argue with Mike Trout, certainly, on that one. All right, Ian, let's get to a topic. I know it's tough, Lions fans, earmuffs, but I'm gonna put some nice, easygoing, some new age music behind just to kind of maybe calm you down just a little bit here. All right, so the Lions on the verge of victory until Justin Tucker of the Ravens not only kicks a NFL record 66-yard field goal, he did it to win the game for the Ravens. Oh, my first thought, I'm thinking of you and Brian Blades. I'm like, you poor guys. I reached out to you both on Facebook. You handled it well, but for you, I don't know how you guys do it.
Well, first of all, Lions fans, no earmuffs. You need to hear this. Wins and losses are not important this season. It's the progress of the coaching staff, of the roster. You know, how are they building? Are they building a team? Are they building a good defense? Are they building a good offense? Earmuffs for the rest of the people who don't care about the Detroit Lions. But yeah, that was a tough loss because I don't think there was a single Lions fan who thought when Justin Tucker lined up for that field goal, I don't think there was a single Lions fan that didn't think he was going to make it. Of course he was going to make it. It was indoors, and it's against the Lions. Now, there's a lot of complaining about that the referees may have missed a delay of game call, which would have pushed that field goal back 5 yards. We don't know for sure if the referees missed that because the clock that we see on TV isn't necessarily the official play clock. But yeah. I would say, okay, go ahead and complain about that. And I know Blades was saying, the refs always screw the Lions. You know, if that was the only problem, we're not the New Orleans Saints, okay? It's not just because the refs are screwing the Detroit Lions. They had a 4th and 19, and they allowed a 36-yard pass play. That is why they lost the game. That is Detroit Lions football right there.
Oh, you poor guy. Well, buddy, we're thinking of you. My 24-hour hotline is open if either you or Blades need to connect, buddy.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna console myself by saying, hey, they played the Baltimore Ravens tough. The Ravens, Hollywood Brown dropped 3 passes that could have been touchdowns, so really they kept the Lions in the game. But you know, as long as they're playing hard, they're not going to win this year. I mean, we talked about this in the offseason. I thought the Lions might win 3 games. So, yeah, it hurts to see one get away that could have been there. But really, just let's build something. Wins and losses don't matter this season.
All right, we got it. Ian, you're the best. We appreciate you, man. So let's catch up next Monday, friend.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your week, Pat.
Thanks, you too, pal. Thank you so much. Ian Castleberry with the Wise Guys and a baseball update presented by Happy Hill Restaurant.